This is J Boxing TV reporting live and direct in Sheffield with the main man, the head honcho, Adam Smith. Do you like the introduction, Adam?
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Sheffield's a fantastic fight city, and we've been coming up here for many years. But I think the sort of mid to late 90s, when Prince Nassim Hamid was flying, and Ryan Rhodes and Johnny Nelson, of course, my compatriot, Junior Witter, Isham Pickering, all those sort of guys. And I remember clearly when a 10-and-a-half-year-old Kell Brook walked on his hands through the gym back in those days with Brendan and Winkerbank. So he's come a long way, Kell Brook, and he's still rolling. He's got a big fight this weekend. Needs to look good, needs to look really sharp. He's been out a long time, and this is the sort of last hurrah really for Kell. These next sort of 3 or 5 key fights, if he wants to win a world title again, he cannot make any mistakes. Saturday night he didn't look great against Rafa 14 months ago, so he needs to on Saturday against a tough American who I've seen a couple of times. We've commentated on him, and he's a hard man, an old army guy, and he's tough. He's not the best known opponent, but he's good, and if Kell's not on his sharpest game, he'll cause him trouble. So it's a very important night for Kell Saturday.
I mean, Kell's had a couple of years out. He's fought the likes of Errol Spence Jr., Golovkin. He's got to that world level, but he's not quite managed to get those fights over the line. He's had a couple of years out. He's looking revitalised. He believes truly in his heart of hearts that he can get there again and maybe even be better than he used to be. What's your viewpoint on that?
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Reflexes and speed and things that Kell had, 5-6 years ago, may catch up with him. We don't know yet. What we do know is that he was flying. He went into some tough fights. Gennady Golovkin was always going to be a huge mountain. He did okay, but obviously that was a defeat. And then he lost here to Errol Spence in that cracking fight. A brilliant fight. Listen, he's bounced back a bit, but the Khan fight hasn't materialised. And as I said, he wasn't great against Zarafa before. He's back with Dominic Ingle. That's good. He looks revitalised, and maybe he needed this break. But it's not just mentally. He seems in a great place, but it's physically as well. And we won't know until he gets in the ring on Saturday quite what is left. But if he's back to his best, he should be way too good for DeLuca. He should be, a class above him, and he should be able to fight for a world title again. But as I said, we won't know until we see the performance on Saturday, which makes it fascinating.
I mean, Adam, hypothetically, he goes in there and, like you say, puts on a sterling performance. Is it probable that he may fight Amir Khan in the future? Could we make that fight happen?
I mean, I've stood here 3 or 4 times over the last decade in this very room saying that, we've tried ever so hard to make that Amir Khan fight, and we were really close before Amir went to fight Canelo. Very close to that fight. Then I thought with them both being under the Matchroom stable, that would be, a chart, a journey towards it. But, it hasn't happened. I think time is really running out. A lot of people you talk on the street, they still want to see Brook Khan, but the interest is not what it was. So I think that if it's not made this year, I think that it will never happen. It'll be one of those Hatton Witter fights or Lewis Bowe that just doesn't materialise. Calzaghe Froch. But look, we hope it will. I think they've both got to put really good performances on again. When's Khan back? We know what's happening with Kell, but he's got to look great Saturday night. That's the first thing. He's got to get back, and he's got to fight regularly. He's got to fight 3 times this year. He can't be sitting around like he has been. That's no good. So if we see Kell perform on Saturday, then look good again, maybe in the spring, early summer, then maybe, who knows, we could have a Khan fight at the back end of 2020. But I think it's probably more likely now he'll settle at super welterweight, that he'll settle at 11 stone, that I think Kell will fight for a world title in that division. That's probably what will happen. But never say never in boxing. It's certainly a fight that I've always wanted to try and make, but it is up to the fighters, it is up to Eddie, and they've got to get round the table and make sure. And I think maybe it's a money thing, maybe it's one wants it more than the other, but I don't know. It's either got to happen, I think, this year, or it won't. And I'm sort of sick of trying to tell them, come on guys, I've said a long time I think they could have 2-3 fights. It will be a great narrative like Froch Groves, but if they're not prepared to do it, then you can't make them, and they're the fighters, they're the ones we all respect who get in the ring and make their money the hard way. So ultimately, if they've got different paths they want to go down, then that's up to them. But it's a fight that I think still a lot of people out there want to see.
Let's quickly move on to Steffi Bull's Terry Harper. Massive fight for her. Eva Wallström, 39 years of age. Is it Terry's time to shine?
I think it might be. I'd be really impressed with Terry Harper. I think she's a terrific young lady outside of the ring, and inside the ring she's just performing better and better. And Steffi's been telling me about her for a long time, and we finally got her on Sky, and we got her in a live slot a while back when other things fell through, and she took her opportunity, and since then she's been flying high, and she looked fantastic last time in Manchester, and we all wanted her to get this world title opportunity. Eddie's delivered it for her. Eva Wallström we know very well, of course, fought Katie Taylor and got to know her out in America that week, and she's really tough, but she is older now, and it could be the right time for Terry to strike. I really like her. I think she's got a terrific jab, she's got a great work ethic, she's young, she's just a terrific all-round fighter, and I think that she could become a star. I really do. This is either excellent matchmaking and one of those moments like a little bit go back to Hatton's Hugh, and when a great fight is just slightly on the slide possibly, and Hatton pulled it out that night. I could see Terry Harper possibly doing the same, but Eva Wallström's quality, so it's going to be hard. But if Terry can come through this, I think she's going to be an absolute star for British boxing. I really do.
What do you think the biggest danger that Eva Wallström poses on the evening?
No question, experience. She's great quality, amateur, pro. She's been a wonderful fighter for many years, and she was unbeaten for a long time. And she had to go up and fight Katie in weight, and she was always going to find that difficult. But she was strong and tough as she always is. Katie outclassed her that night. But I just wonder, she's had that one fight recently in the summer, which she looked okay in, but I think that again another 6 months on from that, Harper's the one that's really got momentum with her career. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be a real tough, probably distance fight. But I could see Terry, just coming through, and maybe with freshness and increased ability and that incredible working relationship she's got with Steffi Bull. It's a fantastic partnership and
great chemistry.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant, and I think, as I said, I think she's a great girl, and we'd love to see her come through. But Wallström's quality, and it's a really good fight.
I've been spending a little bit of time now in Steffi Bull's gym, and I've been interviewing Dave Allen quite a bit. He's back, he's looking focused, he's looking fit again. He wants a British title shot at some point in the future. He doesn't want to fight Fabio Wardley. He wants a fight that means something. He's back.
I've just seen him walk in. He always brings a smile to everyone's face, doesn't he? Dave Allen's a complicated character. He's had his issues out of the ring, and he's had plenty of fascinating, entertaining fights in it. I like him personally, Dave. He makes us laugh. He's got a great sort of cult following. He's been good for the sport, but ultimately there have been concerns about him and the fact that he had that bad loss to David Price, and you've got to be fit and healthy and ready mentally and physically to campaign at that sort of level. And Dave looks great now, and I'm just hoping that he can keep on that path, that he can keep absolutely dedicated, he can keep strong in himself. That's the most important thing, the health of our fighters, and he provides so much quality and entertainment when he fights and when he does the build-ups to shows that you want him around. So we don't know. I think it's one step at a time with Dave Allen. Let's not push him too far, because he has had some tough fights, and some people think he's even overachieved already. Maybe he's underachieved. We're not quite sure. He's a bit of an enigma. He's performed brilliantly in sparring. He's performed hot and cold in the ring, and you just want to make sure he's absolutely right. And I think a right Dave Allen, which he looks like at the moment, is a good Dave Allen for boxing.
Just going off piece a little bit, let's just quickly move on to Anthony Joshua. Out of curiosity for myself, from a personal standpoint as well, do you think it might be probable that we could see AJ fight Tyson Fury this year?
Be good, wouldn't it? Listen, it'd be good if AJ fights Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder in the next 12 to 18 months. Either or both would be fantastic. There's a big fight going on in Vegas in a couple of weeks, one that we're not covering, but we're fascinated in. You know, can Tyson Fury do what I thought he did last time, which was win the fight? Deontay Wilder, we've been close with in Brooklyn, in Vegas over the last year for the Dominic Breazeale and Luis Ortiz fights. Spent a lot of time with Deontay. You know, his power is freakish. It's extraordinary, and you know he can end a fight with one shot. He almost did it last time with a miraculous recovery from Fury in the last round. So look, you can't ever write Deontay Wilder off. He's going to be dangerous from 1 to 12. Tyson Fury could outbox him for large patches of it, but you've got to worry about the power of Wilder at some point. It's one of those, you can't pick it. I mean,
who's your money on?
It's a really, really difficult fight to because last time I thought that Tyson didn't have enough time. I thought that Wilder would beat him because I didn't think he had the time. He'd had that the recovery, and I didn't think he'd had enough activity. But I thought he won the fight by probably 3 rounds on the night. I agree with Frank Warren. I thought he was really hard done by. Since then, he's looked good, and then he's looked okay, and Wilder's looked terrific and dangerous and powerful and frightening. So you could see Tyson Fury outboxing him round after round and winning again, but you could also see Tyson Fury walking into something early or late and being knocked out. So I think it's a very, very hard fight to predict, and it's one we'll all be watching. And yeah, the winner or the loser can then go on and fight Anthony Joshua, who obviously has got his own business to take care of, winning the belts back. He's got a lot of mandatory issues. Looks like he'll fight Kubrat Pulev in the spring, early summer, and that's what he's got to focus on. He's got his titles back. There's the big debate about who is the best. Well, until Anthony Joshua fights either Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, the debate's going to carry on, because many people think, without the Ruiz blip, it's Anthony Joshua. Others think Tyson Fury hasn't really, he's got that one draw on the record, but he hasn't. I don't think he should have had the win there, so really it should be a 100% record. So you've got to say Tyson Fury, and then Deontay Wilder will believe he's the best heavyweight in the world because he's knocking everybody out. So look, it's a great situation. The fights have got to be made, and we know one is in a couple of weeks.
Adam, it's been great talking to you today. Thanks for your time. Thanks for speaking to Jeff Boxing TV.
No worries. Send Lee Frotch my regards, the renovator. I think he's back on a show sometime soon, so I'll be up to support him.